Did you actually enjoy Japan, or did you?
Okay, this is not about Japan.
Okay.
Oh my God, it's an incredible. I'm glad you. Oh.
In fact, Japan doesn't even appear in the movie. A lot of countries do,
but not
not Japan.
First off, major spoilers ahead. You have been warned. Now, imagine, if you will, Hawkeye in our standard MCU. Doctor Strange stuck in whatever pocket universe Thanos sent him to when he turned everybody into dust. Finally, Ant-Man in the quantum realm. Thanos has won. That's how Infinity War ended. And also how my Avengers 4 would begin. Avengers 4 would follow these three heroes through their individual storylines, finally coming together in the climax to realize what each has learned on their own journey put together can defeat Thanos and restore the MCU. That is what I, your humble film glutton, would say should happen with Avengers 4, knowing that Kevin Feige took inspiration from Star Trek Next Generation's episode, All Good Things. See my video entitled Avengers Infinity War Pregame for that backstory. Will this happen? Probably not. However, I don't think I'm super far off. I think there will be parallel storylines that mimic that episode of Star Trek, but like it, Avengers 4 will probably deal with time travel. Maybe Doctor Strange reaches out to Iron Man from the first Avengers, and alongside a future Iron Man, they find the secret to defeat Thanos and restore the MCU. Something like that. My predictions for deaths, both Iron Man and Captain America, are gone. Definitely. Not a fake out, not a resurrect later on. They'll be gone by the end of Avengers 4. I'm even going to throw in Hawkeye. There's got to be a reason why they're saving him for the next film. Probably that. If you think my shit sounds out there, wait till you check out who my guests would kill off and what they predict. Their final thoughts and predictions will be in the fourth part. But first... Welcome everyone, this is the Film Glutton, and this is Buffet, featuring an Avengers Infinity War Spoiler Roundtable, Part 1. This buffet of gluttons features Carlos, Juan, and newcomer Rosemary, a fellow writer, artist, and one of my all-around super smart friends. Carlos and I both saw it in Dolby AMC Prime, literally as soon as he got off the plane from his Japan trip. No, like, literally. His luggage was still in the backseat of his car. Rosemary and Juan both saw it at the ArcLight, so all of us got to see it in pretty badass ways. Of course, side note, that was my second time seeing it, but who's counting? We kick off this spoiler Avengers Infinity War discussion with Rosemary and Carlos giving us their grades and general thoughts. Take it away, Rosemary.
I give it a solid B, and I think that I know, I'm going to be in the minority here, simply because, I think it's so exciting, and there are so many characters that we're seeing for the first time together in one from the same universe, but they've never been together, and it's really cool to see some of those characters relate to each other and have these really interesting, funny, quippy moments. Then the action is thebomb.com. It's awesome. It's amazing. There's a lot of really great stuff going on there. And just in general, it's a really feel-good movie. I have no remorse about anything in general. I do have little nitpicky things about it that I wish could have been done better, but I think overall that it's a solid movie. The reason I mark it a B is that it feels to me a little bit like the Two Towers, Lord of the Rings. It's a movie that needs a second part. So it's kind of like, it's setting something up. So it doesn't feel like a complete movie to me versus like a movie that's a standalone, like the previous movies, like Avengers, Civil War, and all that other stuff.
Okay, just to have comparison, because last time I asked Juan some of his favorite Marvel films. What's your top Marvel film? Just to give it a perspective. Top Marvel film in that grade.
Winter Soldier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good,
my
very
top
good.
film.
Very good.
It's a very good
I did not
answer.
pay her to say that.
No.
Was that yours too?
Why?
Yeah, absolutely.
Winter
Everyone.
Soldier.
Is it bad to say mine's the same thing as well?
Is it?
There's a lot
The
of
number one.
I did pay
think it's
Carlos
in
to
my-
say it, though.
there's a lot of espionage and
Can't go wrong with espionage. See,
yeah, that's but I'm right there with Rosemary. It's actually a B plus for me. I was initially an A minus. But the more I've thought about it in retrospect, the more it brings out. I mean, of course, you love the movie. I mean, I enjoyed it thoroughly. I mean, the way they incorporated all the characters, the dynamics that they really pursued in there. I loved it. I loved how everyone got their time. but it does feel like a half movie to me. And the reason I'm thinking that is because I look back at like famous trilogies, like you brought up Two Towers. I think of Fellowship of the Ring, where that was the first one in the trilogy, and it felt like a complete movie. Like this one, you have Thanos sitting there, and you're like, okay, well, he's smiling, and you know it's something else is going to happen, and you just leave us off like that. And that's my biggest quip with it. But overall, the action was epic. When Thor came in, I literally stood up. I stood up and put my arms up in the air. Everyone looked at me like a goof, but I still felt proud about it. Like Thor's scene coming in with the Stormbreaker, it was so, every character got their moment, and what I love the most is that you saw every character's personality in it. These are all well-developed characters, and you got a glimpse of them.
Now, let me ask you guys real quickly. So, Rosemary, when you first saw it, when that film finished, you thought it was a B as well, or did you have like a better grade in mind when you
I think I'm like Carlos. Like when I first saw it, I was maybe like a B plus, and then the more I thought about it, it went down to a B.
Same thing, Carlos.
Same
when
thing.
you first watched it, it wasn't an A when you watched it.
The first thing I saw was like A plus.
Yeah,
oh my goodness,
A plus.
A plus plus. I thought, my first reaction was finally Samuel L. Jackson, and then he's gone. But I loved it. My first reaction was an A minus, A. It was in between both of those. But I think it's the same with a lot of Marvel movies. The more you look at it, a little bit more, it kind of decreases a little bit more. If anything, grade goes down just one bit. I mean, it has the wow factor, and I think that's what gives it still a great grade, and what makes it still a great movie is that the ending, you're blown away by it. Yeah. And this is the first, Marvel's had that, but this is the first definitely Marvel we've had where there's no closure. And I think that's what makes it so open-ended. But then you think about that and you're like, oh, okay, all right, I'm ready. This was a half movie. It was a half movie to me.
Yeah.
Definitely for me too, like just watching it at the end of the movie, I didn't know how to react.
Yeah.
It was like kind of like your first time having sex. You're like, I have no idea. How should I be happy? Is this where we're going? No, but at the end of the movie, I really just kind of I just kind of sat there. I didn't know what to think. Exactly. I enjoyed it,
right?
But to even put a grade on it, it didn't make sense because it did feel like I was like, this is not a full movie.
And then you look at it, you're like, okay, all right, we just lost Spider-Man, Black Panther, some of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and then you think about it, you're like, wait, they have their own movies coming out. I mean, I guess it's us as geeks and fanboys, we know that they're going to make more movies, so we're like, okay, well then where are they going to go from here?
Right, that's the exciting part,
That is the exciting part.
We do, we're always constantly reading or hearing about what's going to happen next, and to know that there's another Spider-Man in the works. They already talked to the same director of Black Panther, of possibly having him do the second movie. So you're already aware of these things, but at the end of that movie, even though that is our reality, like you're just like blown away.
Exactly.
You're like,
exactly.
What the fuck just happened?
I know.
I did think that ending was really pretty epic, and some of the people that it's spoilers, yes. So some of the people that faded into oblivion, you are kind of like, wow, they chose this person. Wow, oh no! And it was interesting to see who they chose and see what happens, even though we know some of them are gonna have to come back.
Those ending emotional reactions too, like
the Spider-Man reaction.
Yes,
that was probably the most moving because
God.
I mean, to see this little teenage kid, right, who's like, I don't want to die.
I know.
That was really moving. I thought that was the best of all of them.
And then James Gunn recently came out and said what Groot was saying to Rocket.
Oh, I saw the headline, but what was it?
So he said, Dad. And it makes it even more sad.
I like how James Gunn though is the only one who knows what Groot said, because this isn't the first time he's like, hey, did you know that Groot was that's also the son of Groot? The original Groot died. Now, of course,
kind of wondering.
People who are smarter than me, than I, they say, oh yeah, I kind of caught that. I always thought that Groot just was kind of, he regrew.
I thought it was a phoenix. I thought he was like a phoenix.
Yeah. But no, that is great that he did say that. He said,
I gotta say, since you mentioned the quote, that's actually really cool, because I saw that headline, but I didn't actually click on it, so I didn't know what he said. But did you guys see the Russo brothers? One of the few notes I actually have. Russo brothers were revealing the Hulk didn't come out because he was tired. He came out because he was tired. Sorry, he didn't come out because he was tired of being used as a weapon. Is the official Russo brothers line?
I don't buy that.
You know what? If you pay attention to the movie when he's inside the Hulkbuster, And the Hulk says no real quickly. If you pay attention, he actually says, "No, I don't want to be used as a weapon. I won't let you do it." Or no, and then so a lot of people miss that. But I remember when I was watching it, I did catch that.
That makes sense.
Did you? It translates like that.
I'm surprised because it seems a little. It doesn't seem set up well if that's the reason.
Right.
No.
What did you think the reason was?
I thought the reason was because when he fights. Oh gosh!
Thanos.
Yeah.
Yes.
He fights Thanos in the beginning, and he actually gets hurt. It's sort of like this moment, this realization from Hulk, like, oh fuck,
Exactly.
like I am not as strong as I
Okay.
think I am.
And we're all on the same page with that.
I thought
right?
he got his ass kicked. He was embarrassed.
Honestly,
embarrassed.
I really do agree with the Russo brother because I do remember him saying, "I won't be used as a weapon." No. So I disagree with you guys. I did see that. It's very subtle.
It just surprised
He says it
me.
so fast.
It does.
You got to realize we're coming off of Ragnarok too, where Hulk was everyone. He was glorified.
Dominating.
He was glorified. He was
Yeah.
a dominator. Everyone loved him.
Ultimate gladiator.
Exactly, he's ultimate. And Thanos comes. First of all, one of the best. I love the part where he's like, "Let him have his fun."
Yeah.
Whoa, that was such. And Thanos whoops his ass.
Yeah.
And that's why I just want to make
Jesus.
sure we're all on the same. Because sometimes I interpret things differently, but I'm like, no, he got scared because he got his ass handed
Yes.
to him,
Yeah.
and he
That's
never
in
does
general.
that. And the whole film, a lot of it's about ego. Like Thanos
Right.
won't look at another way to solve the problem. The big one that we were reading about was
Where you go, Doctor Strange.
Thor. Yeah, Thor. If he didn't go for the
Iron
head.
Man, not wanting to talk to Captain America, like,
Right,
You know,
exactly.
Yeah.
the ego on that, like, hey, nope, I'm not
And
doing
then,
this.
and then Thor. What I didn't catch, and I was like, oh, this makes perfect sense. When he says you should have gone for the head, referring to
badass.
Thor,
Yeah.
it's because Thor wanted to look in his eyes as he died. It was his ego that did that. So I'm like, so no, it makes sense the Hulk would be ego bruised.
Yeah.
Because it's part of the thing. Anyways,
And
I
then
just saw
Doctor
that.
Strange repeatedly saying, like, "I'm gonna save this time stone." Like, if there's a choice between me saving the time stone and you dying, I'm gonna save this.
Yeah.
And then he kind of reverts it at the end, which kind of surprises me.
So he might be one of the few people that didn't have the ego situation because he let go of it and said, okay, I'm going to give away
You're
the
talking
stone.
about Doctor Strange when he
Doctor
But then he
Strange.
saw all million possibilities,
Exactly.
and so he knows the one possibility.
And that's what I'm curious about. It's like, okay, well then, but this is just another question that's raised from it all. You know? But back to the Hulk. I thought Hulk, this guy, I don't know. My biggest, I kind of have an issue with the Bruce Banner thing.
Yeah.
I thought he was kind of. I was telling Juan this.
I've heard
to
this.
Rosemary. I thought he was too childish. I didn't think they made him not smart enough. But the fact that he's like
Bruce Banner you're talking about.
yeah.
Okay.
Where Mark Ruffalo, he was like, yeah, go get him. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, he didn't seem quite as scientific as he's been in the past. And he's been so much more academic and so much more together. And in this one, he felt like he was the water boy.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, that's a choice, right? I wasn't as thrilled by his character.
He couldn't do the Hulkbuster outfit. He was having a tough time with it. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
like
he
you
seemed
would pick that up right away.
incompetent. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's true, but guys, after years and years of being used as a weapon throughout his Marvel Studios career, I think he got to a point where he just wanted to have a little fun.
Well, he had his fun. First of all, the way he killed, what was the guy that he killed? Where he put the arm on him and then shot him up to the sky.
Oh,
that
yeah.
that was a
There's
great
good
scene.
moments, I know.
That was a great. First of all, can we get to the order? The black is in the Black Order.
Black Order.
Yeah.
Sure.
What did you guys think about them?
I didn't have many thoughts about them. They were cool. I mean, they seemed tougher than most villains, most lackeys.
That's true.
They were cool, but I didn't have any specific feelings about them. Like, I thought Thanos was badass. The rest of them were kind of like, oh, that's cool, that's frosting. But it wasn't, I didn't have any specific thoughts.
But they were a little more tasty than the other lackeys that, like, the main villains have. They were definitely probably one of the tougher regular lackeys that the Avengers had to deal with. I will say, I did almost fear them. Like, there was a couple months where I'm like, these guys, because when you see Scarlet Witch and Vision just hanging out, dude, I honestly did not see that coming. Like, he just gets speared, Vision right through the back, boom, like out of nowhere, and then
Intense.
it just fucking goes on. Like, you're just like, these guys are, even when the first two landed. in New York, and they fought Iron Man and Doctor Strange. Like already, it doesn't seem like it's an easy thing, and we already saw Thanos kick the shit out of the Hulk, right. And then you see these guys. So it definitely, I did feel fear for our main characters, and I will say the one who was playing Permanent Midnight.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Oh man, if you guys ever seen The Leftovers, the lead actress in that, it plays her. Like they did motion capture with her. So that was the one thing I was interested in. Not a whole lot happened. I felt with her ability as an actress. I felt like not too much, but still like just their presence alone as a whole. Like I definitely felt like they were definitely a force to be reckoned with.
Oh yeah.
Juan really likes The Leftovers, just so we all know. He mentioned that last time too.
It's actually,
different point.
I was like, we should do a thing on Leftovers. We should talk. You should watch the seasons, then we could talk about them.
The only thing as amazing as Infinity War was Leftovers.
I was like, well, Infinity is cool, man, but Leftovers, you really got to get into this.
She was a great part of Midnight. But I love the fact is when she was fighting, when she was fighting Scarlet Witch and then Black Widow came in. That was a good little, especially with the women's sequence, and then all of a sudden.
And it wasn't just Black Widow; it was Black Widow and what's the name of the Black Panther's guard?
Yes.
I don't remember the name of Black Panther's guard, but it's
it was like the main one, the girl from who's Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that was great when she was like, she's been up there the whole entire time. Mm-hmm. That's a Marvel comedy little bit that actually really hit.
Mm-hmm. See, what I like about it, they were like they added good tension, but they were really more for introductions to the other characters. So that way when they fought Thanos, Thanos was the star. That's why they made him very also, I don't want to say two-dimensional because they're in there so little. Of course, they're two-dimensional, but they were like the stereotypical Marvel villains to me. That if another Marvel film would have just had them as the main bad guys with like no depth or anything, and now they've utilized it perfectly. They're like, okay, we're gonna have some of these guys, like you're saying, to create the scene for the introduction, but Iron Man's gonna be the star of that scene,
right?
Captain America is gonna be the star of his entrance, so we're not gonna have any other bad guys that are gonna outshine.
I could see that. Ultron almost seems like he could be a part of their group.
Yeah.
Like, he's not. I mean, Thanos is just way, way badass compared to like any previous villain.
I was blown away by how good they made him and how how determined and self-righteous he was, and his self-righteousness and how it dragged him. I mean, arguably to kill his own daughter to make sure to fulfill the promise and his destiny that he says. But it's the underlying theme that a life for a life, and that's something they really they really try to promote. But with Thanos, you knew he was badass that first scene. That first scene with Hulk. He killed Loki. Killing Loki. That set the tone for the whole entire movie.
That was a great introduction. Just to go right away. We're going to kill somebody off. You're getting some major.
Yes. Killed him. And Loki, the best part is he looked at him and said, "You're not resurrecting. You're done.
Yeah.
It's over for you."
That line was genius to me. It was so like self-referential, looking back at Marvel, what they done, be like, no, we're going to make sure everyone knows. That line made it work more than anything else,
And then
it was vicious though, choking.
Right?
I was like, God,
that crack when you hear it, you're like, whoa, well, that sounds serious.
Yeah, he should get that looked at. That's not.
Oh my God!
That's going to be a bad morning when he wakes up.
And he died with his eyes open.
And when his body hit the ground, I was like, something's wrong here. He's not getting back up.
Well, did you notice the little Easter egg too, right there? Because don't forget, in the first Avengers, Iron Man goes, "Well, we have a Hulk."
Oh,
and
yeah.
Loki said the same exact
I did see
thing.
that.
And so much for that. That didn't work out at all.
It didn't work out for him.
And Loki still ended up on the floor because he ended up on the floor in the first one too because of the Hulk.
Yeah, which was great just to see like how Hulk treated Loki the first time, and then
And I don't know if you guys noticed, but Loki was wearing the same colored socks from the first Avengers.
Well, that's it for part 1, and on behalf of Juan and all of my gluttons, I apologize for ending on a joke about socks. But stay tuned for parts 2, 3, and 4 where we cover trousers, undershirts, and underoos. Or none of these things. Until next time, this is the Film Glutton reminding you to never turn down an upgrade. Have a good night, folks.